Hi, friends, and welcome to episode 204 of the KnitWhits podcast. This podcast episode is going to be called We Listen and We Don't Judge. I have a table full of works in progress, many of which I just cast on. I finished kind of a magnum opus project last time we chatted. The time before last I shared my Rail Trail sweater with all the color work in it and got some help from a sample knitter because I had messed up the raglans. And then I finished up 2 designs that I have coming out in 5 weeks and 8 weeks. And I have a little tweaking to do on one of them, but all of a sudden I felt this huge sense of freedom. And I was just like, I haven't cast on something for myself forever. Now, do I have a giant whip tree? Yes. I have a whip tree with all the bags on it. We've all seen it before. But my favorite thing in the world is casting on. Absolutely. So I'm going to share all the things I've cast on recently. And some of them are little bitty, because that's what I like to do, is just get a bunch of stuff on the needles. It does not bother me. I don't get weirded out or nervous or anxious about having a bunch of projects. Actually, I really like it. The other night we were going out to dinner and I didn't have something to take because the things that were within my direct reach on my way out the door, because one of my husband's worst things is he's waiting in the car because I don't have my knitting project handy. And I just didn't have anything like right there that was workable in a restaurant. And we go out to dinner almost every Friday and Saturday night. It is my husband's favorite thing. He would rather do that than go on vacation, than just about anything else. He just likes, I think it just takes his mind off work. He's been traveling on the road Monday through Friday for the last 2 weeks. And so that has been a lot. And he likes to clean up. He's a cleanup person. And he doesn't want to clean up on Friday and Saturday night, the dishes and stuff. Now, could I do it? Yes. But he just says, I just like to go to dinner with my wife. So I'm like, okay, easy for me. But I always take my knitting. And oftentimes we will sit at a bar, especially if there's some type of game on. Last night it was a game show. They were playing a game where it wasn't even trivia. It was like stuff nobody would know and people kind of had to guess. So yeah, I am going to just share all the things that I cast on yesterday. I'm wearing my Pretty Boxes sweater. This is one of my favorite designs that I've ever done, although my new one is going to be a close contender because I can't show it, but it's right there and it's so pretty. This is called Pretty Boxes, but if you know me, I'm a color girl, a color work girl, a kind of quirky knitter. I wear plaids and stripes and color blocking things together all the time, but this is like a classic pretty design coming out for Flock Fiberfest August 1st. And I found a shirt, a Cori shirt to put underneath it. So imagine yellow and orange and pink and cranberry flowers, little flowered shirt with a little puff sleeve with a classic cabled item over it. It's really going to be fun. Okay, so I have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items to show, and I'm not sure that that's everything. So let's just get started and see where we go from here, okay? So one of the things that I recently got was this Brave Heart cowl that is going to be for Cascade. It's going to be for the fall, and it's going to be a bandana type cowl with a cable that comes up the center and then splits and goes into a heart and then goes up. So they sent me yarn, oh gosh, a year ago. And they sent me a bunch of different things to try. And so I did a couple of my cowls. Cloudy with a Chance of Fluff cowl, which is just one of the softest ones I've ever done. Just basically just a kind of a cylinder that gets wider at the bottom. So that one's a really inexpensive pattern to purchase because it's basically just it's a recipe, but I mean, it's written out, but it like anybody could have made it. So, but yeah, so I have this yarn and I have it in 2 colors. It's just beautiful. And so I got this started like a year ago, and then it wasn't working. I didn't have the I-cord edges quite right or the bottom right, and I ripped it out and I started again, and I ripped it out and I started again, and I finally got it like exactly how I want it, how many stitches I need in the center here to increase so that it can turn into the vision that I have for it. So that's going to be the Braveheart cowl, and I just started it on double points. Eventually it will join in the round and go up back around your neck, so it will be one that pulls over your head. So yeah, I'm just gonna drop them on the floor because there's gonna be such a huge pile here. Then I cast on a new hat because I was asked by a local yarn store to teach the Ladderback Jacquard method. And that is a method that you carry your floats along the back without trapping them in the work that you're using. And so basically I think of it as being used for a white background where you're carrying color across the back. And when you trap it, it shows through some. And so anything that you're going to do in a light color. So I am knitting up a plain kind of simple hat with a big motif on it that will have long floats in between so that I can teach this as the sample for the class. And yeah, she wants to host that this fall. And one of the reasons that I cast on all the things is because Friday I am leaving to go to Sioux Falls to visit my family. My parents live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They are 86 and 91. They'll both be a year older this fall, early this fall, my dad in September. And we haven't been there since April. And they can't come here anymore. It's just too much of a drive. And so we're going to go down. My husband has Friday off. So we're going to go down on Friday. So I'm going to have some car time. And I thought I could either do this hat or work on these baby socks that I'm going to do. So I didn't cast this on, but I dug out all my yarn for my Up North Cabin socks, hat, cowl, and mitten set, if you know which one that is. It has a textured stitch pattern, and it was knit with this Kelbourne Woolens Lucky Tweed. And I am going to teach a class at DFW Fiberfest on knitting your first socks. And so I am going to teach a child's sock in that class as an option. People can make an adult sock if they're pretty fast knitter, like if it doesn't stress them out in class to have to get some rows done, or they can make a shorty, but I need to knit and write the child's pattern. So I dug out all the color palette for this. There's a whole bunch of colors, but the main color is this like oatmeal, and it has all these colored specks in it. And then it has trim with colors with a red, a green, and a gold trim that you weave around the edges of the hat, and then you put little tassels on the sides of the socks as an embellishment if you choose to. So I need to bring that along on this trip. And then a while back, I shared with all of you that I had started a dew scarf for my mom for Mother's Day. And Mom, I don't think she watches this. I don't think she watches everyone. Sometimes they do watch, but it got put on the back burner because I said yes to a couple of collaborations. And so hers got put on the back burner. So I dug it out last night and I got really far on it. Like I really made some good progress. Oh dear. So this is the dew scarf. It's, what I really got done was I got to the point at which now I'm going to repeat 4 rows over and over again until it's at the length that I want. So it will keep getting wider and wider, but it's just this little lace repeat, and I needed to get the whole setup done. So now I'm at the point where I'm going to copy rows 13, 14, 15, 16 over and over again. And so I got that ready to go. So I thought, well, I could work on that in the car too. Now, as you will well know, I have just put 3 projects on the floor, and it's only a 4-hour drive to Sioux Falls. So I don't know what I'm thinking that I can, you know, get all these things done, but I would like to get this done for my mom. So if I work on it the next couple nights, it's open, it's, you know, airy. I think I could get it done. It's a big needle. Like, yeah, it's a super large needle for this little mohair yarn, but that's the dew scarf. And I try to keep my projects in project bags that coordinate with what's in them. So if I can't see inside the project bag, I kind of know what's in it. So like for this one, it's got something that's blue, and there's, well, it's a rainbow, but it has all the colors. It really doesn't make sense. Let me show you one that will make more sense. Like this bag has something that I'm gonna knit that's red in it. Does that make sense? And my my little pink cascade is in this bag for pink. So if I have a bag that's kind of the right color, that's what I like to do, because it helps me remember. And then the mom's blue scarf, I should put in this blue bag, because this one's laying on the dining room table and it's empty. So I'll switch that now, because that'll help me remember. So the red bag was also asked to teach the Ranunculus sweater. And I have knit 4 ranunculi, ranunculuses. I have knit 4 sweaters. But I have not knit them to the gauge that they were written for. She uses fingering and lace weight yarn, and she's rewritten the pattern since I first did it. But I was never interested in that ethereal look that she had going on with the very first one, where it was like one size fits all, and it was super huge needle with this just airy kind of, you know, young girl in it that was just really petite, and then it was this kind of almost off the shoulder thing. Did not interest me. But then I saw the pink and white one. I'll put a picture in here of mine. It has a white yoke with a pink bottom, and I was like, now that is gorgeous. And thank heavens that that woman put all of her notes on Ravelry so that I could just copy it. So after that, I knit 3 more, because they are a very quick knit. You know, you can use a size 8 or 9 needle with a little bit thinner yarn, but she wanted me to knit it at the gauge that the pattern was written in, which I haven't done, because I wanted my gauge to be a little firmer and she said, you know what? Considering that you haven't designed, you didn't design this, and you're teaching this class for the first time, I'll just defer to whatever you want to do, right? Like, and I said, I shipped her all 4 of my sweaters, and I said, if people see them in the store and they say yes, I would knit it that way, where the gauge is just a little tighter. I think I was doing 4 stitches to the inch on some of it. It's been a while. So I got out some yarn that I'm going to knit another ranunculus in, and so I put the 2 skeins. This is Wool Miza, like a sport weight, so it's not quite a fingering, but I'll be able to get gauge with that, and then I'll knit that up on the size 8, especially the yoke, just to refresh my memory, and then to see how that goes. So I'm starting to write up my notes for that class, and I'm teaching that in July on 2 Thursdays. So we're going to teach it and then take a week off and then teach it, because really that is an easy sweater. I think the sizing is part of the issue that people have with it, and the stitch patterns. Yeah, fascinating to me that I was watching someone's Instagram, maybe, or was it a YouTube video, where they were talking about how popular that sweater is on Ravelry, and it's always in the hot right now, which it is been very, very popular. Any designer would love to have put that sweater out. But one of the reasons that they said that it has remained on the front page of Ravelry is because that's where her video links are. And so if you want to watch the video links, you have to go back to the Ravelry page. So she's constantly getting clicks from people because they're going back to the Ravelry page to get the links for the pattern, which is brilliant, right? Like, why don't we all just have our video links on Ravelry? Because the algorithm is all about clicks, favoriting, buying, put it in your queue, as many as you can get in. I think it's a 12-hour period that those kind of rotate in and out of that Hot Right Now. And hers is always on that front page, at least in the top 20. And so I thought, well, I'm not sure she meant to do that, because she does... Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe it was a brilliant marketing scheme. But I was like, that is so smart. So anyway, this I just got out. I did not cast this on yesterday, but I've knit 4, and so I know I'm going to cast on get to 90 stitches. That's the thing I remember the most. And so I'm going to get that cast on. But after we come back from this weekend being up, going to Sioux Falls, my husband and I are taking a week-long vacation in northern Minnesota on the Gunflint Trail at the Bearskin Lodge up near Grand Marais, and I will be in a cabin for a week, and I will be knitting. So that's another reason that this whole wonderful experience happened, where I just was casting on all the things, because I want to have all the stuff ready to go when we go up to the lake. And honestly, I could take one of these and probably finish it, but my husband's going to Portage and spend daytimes going to lakes off of the Bearskin Lake. And he portages for the day. He takes a sat phone and he has a little boat, and he pulls his canoe to the far end of the lake. It's probably, 3 miles to the other end of the lake. It's a very long and narrow. And then he'll portage in to Moon or Crocodile Lake for the day, where there are no motors. So then you have to carry your canoe across the portage, and then he'll fish all day, and then he'll come back at night to the cabin. And then we usually go out to dinner, because it's not fun for me to sit in the cabin all day when we do these fishing trips and then have the men come back for supper that the woman has made, right? And after a few years of that, like me just being in the cabin and then just cooking the dinner, because I'm just not a big fisherman. I have portaged and I have been in the boat for many years when I was young and wasn't probably speaking up for myself the way I do now. Now I would just rather be in the cabin knitting, listening to my audiobooks. And so he will do that. And so I'm going to have a whole week. We are leaving on that Saturday and we are gone through the 4th. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of knitting time, which is wonderful. So the next thing I cast on was this little petal hat. I will put a better picture in. It was a kit from KnitWhits, and it came with this 4 little cotton yarns, or 5 in a kit. But I had I got some mini skeins, and so I cast on the bottom of this hat for a friend who's having a baby due in August. And that person's favorite color is green, and that person loves the outdoors. And so I'm gonna make this little petal hat with just 4 colors instead of 5, because I have made it before and it was awfully tall when you stack these on. And so I am going to do that. And I got really far on this one too. Last night, I got the yarn out and got it ready and cast on and did the first 2 rows, so I know what I have going on there. I mean, this will be pretty quick. It's the infant size, child, adult small, and adult medium sizes are available in the pattern. And I think they probably still have the kits, but I'm not sure about that. So I'll have the information here on the screen. And then I ordered some DK weight mini skeins from Etsy, this one. And then I've shown this before, but you all know that if you've been watching for a while, how I knit off of a mini skein. So I don't wind my mini skeins ever, and I just have them like this, and then I wrap them around my neck and I knit, and then I pull and I slide and I pull and I slide, and I just knit off them this way. And then when I'm ready to be done for the night, I just take this off and I hang it on my little lamp. I have an ot light next to and I hang it right there. So nothing ever gets tangled. I usually don't carry this kind of a project with me with mini skeins, but that's the way I've knit with mini skeins for years, because winding them up doesn't take long. I mean, if they're a 20-gram mini, it can take a little bit longer, but I just want to get to knitting. So that's kind of how I knit off those mini skeins. So that one will also be going up with me to the lake. And I had a friend whose daughter-in-law had a baby in June, and I have a niece who just had a baby on Thursday last, and she named that baby James William, and my father-in-law's name was James, and that's my husband's, it's my husband's brother's daughter and our godchild. And so I knit for her baby shower, a little sweater set, but I've not knit anything to send to the baby. I did send her the Jen Hamilton book, Birth Vibes. If you are on Instagram and you have not or don't follow Jen Hamilton, or you have women in your life who are of childbearing age, or you are a grandma, that book is phenomenal. So I have one coming to me. I'm going to listen to it on audio because I do think that my daughter and son-in-law want to have children. And so I think it would be really good for all of us to have some information. She's a labor and delivery nurse, and she tells all of the wonderful tips and tricks to make things the best for you. And she's got a great sense of humor. So I sent that out to my niece, but I should make a couple more of these. I just have to go through my mini skeins. I have a whole bin. So you just need some colors to make the petals or the leaves a different color. Does she even call them petals? It's called the Flora hat, so I think that means flower, and I think that means they're petals, but I'm calling them leaves in this iteration. And I don't have a bag for that yet, so I'll have to go in my closet and get a green one out. Okay, then this is what I really want to finish on vacation. This is my Alpine Bloom in the fingering weight, which I have knit before, which is one of my favorite knits ever to knit, and I am knitting it in this lovely, oh, it's much brighter than that. It is a teal, it's greener than this and brighter. I'm using this tealy color, and then I'm using the Hot Dish Spin Cycle colorway. That is a Minnesota colorway for Harriet and Alice. And it is mostly pinks and oranges that will change color. So this has been put away since last summer because it's fingering weight, short sleeved, and I just haven't gotten it out. So and it's got some cables and lace at the top, at the yoke, right there. And then you go into the color work. And then in between the flowers, you also have some more cables and lace going on. So that is definitely the thing I want to be working on. Now, when we go up north, that'll be at least a 6 or 8 hour drive because you'll have to stop, and we'll be pulling a little boat. And so, yeah, so that I put in my big fried egg bag. Let's call them daisies. They kind of do look like fried eggs. This is a bag I got. I have 2 of these that I got at Shepherd's Harvest one year. It's kind of latch hooked, that needle punch, when you think about hooking rugs. So it's got this great strap on it, and I've got that orange there. So that is in there. Oh, you think I'm done? No, I'm not done. This is just obnoxious. Then I got a little bit further on my Evendoon. Remember, I'm copying Michelle of Woolens and Nosh. I got my neckline put on. I needed something easy, so I picked up the neckline and then I set it aside for some time when we were just going to go somewhere and be driving, and so I could just get the neckline put on because it was knit 2 purl 2 ribbing, and I could just get that going. So yeah, I think I've gone through all the colors now, 2 pink, a yellow, and 2 kind of purples. Yeah, with the white in between. So now I'll repeat the 2 pinks, the yellow, and the 2 purples, and it's a short sleeved summer top. I am using green letter day yarn in all these colorways, and I copied Michelle of Woolens, of Woolens and Nosh, her color palette. So this one is another one that's easy to take in the car if you have time to knit 10 rows. If you're going a short distance, this is kind of a pain to take into a restaurant, because if you have to change colors, you need all the colors with you, or you need to take out the ones that you know are coming next, right? I mean, not that you can't take that into a restaurant, but that's a big bagel yarn. So that one will be coming with me up north. As long as I don't say yes to another design, because I could. Someone's bound to ask. And then I have my farm yarn Dumplin bag, and I got this going. This is with Teresa of Get Bent's Farm, her Icelandic, and her, she's got several yarn combinations. So she had this is her Badger Face Farm at Get Bent's, and she does this unicorn targi from Montana and recycled sari silk, which is lovely because it has the little, see that pink in there? And then it has little colored speckles in it. And that's the little sari there. You can see the yellow, pink, green in this. So yeah, it's unicorn targi. So that's lovely. And then she had some plain yarns that she sent to Muse 2320, Sarah, who dyes yarn, and Sarah dyed the blue and the red colorways. So I have a skein of the red and the blue to make the farm yarn shawl that I designed for Teresa and for Lavender Loons yarn and for Ross Farms yarn into a Dumplin bag for Teresa to have in her booth, because she travels so much, and I really did want to get to her this by June 1st. So this is happening this week so that I can put it in the mail to her so she can have it in her booth. I'm going to see her at Flock, and I'm going to see her at Rhinebeck, but I did want to get this finished up. So that is also one that needs to get done. So did I have any right to be casting on new things? Absolutely not. I'm not done either. I'm not done, folks. So this one should be done tonight. My mom's scarf should be done tonight. I should just not sleep this week for those things to get off the needles. But yeah, I had to cast on something. Saturday evening, I was sitting there and I was like, this has been in a bag by my chair for, I don't know, 6 months. And every time I look at it, I go, oh yeah, if you just cast that on, it would be so easy to get it going. Aren't these Cori colors? So this is the Hemlock tee, right? Yes. And I am using this Summer Sesame yarn by Barocco. And I got this from outside of Chicago, the Woolco. Yes. Something Woolco. I'll put it down here. I have a lot to remember today with all of these. But this is a cotton acrylic nylon blend that feels like linen. Let's call it linen, because it's not, but that's exactly what it feels like. It's color changing yarn. I'll have the picture in here of what this one's going to look at like, because they did have it knit up, which is what caused me to buy the yarn. I had to buy 3 skeins. It's a top down circular yoke with some interesting stitches around the yoke that play with the yarn colors a little bit. And I also thought that this, then it turns into stockinette for the whole thing, would also be a good take-along project if you get the short rows done. So I did the short rows. This weekend made me so happy because I was just casting on with glee. And yeah, it made me so happy. I have my 2 designs on the needles. The one is almost done. This is my Atta Girl sweater. I'm almost complete. I don't want to pull too hard because I don't want to pull my needles out, but I'm getting ready to do the bottom ribbing. It is stockinette sleeves and yarn over knit together mesh here, but I'm getting yarn from Crystal at Factory Girl Designs so that this sweater can be knit in her yarn, and she's putting it in the mail to me, and then that will come out at Yarn Over in Minnesota the 3rd weekend in September. And Yarn Over has moved, so it's going to be in St. Louis Park at a hotel, so that we have the vendor market all in one area. I talked to Sam of Lavender Loon yesterday, and she got in. She didn't know if she's going to come or not, and then they had so much interest that they added another area of vendors, which will be wonderful because that event used to be huge and everybody used to go, and recently it's just really gotten smaller, and they had the vendor market in 2 places, one upstairs, one downstairs, in an older hotel. It just, yeah, it wasn't the best. So this one also just needs I have to fix the bottom so the ribbing will be fine. The testers are finishing that up, and then I'm going to have to knit another one with Crystal's yarn, but I don't have it yet, so that made it easy to just cast on all things. Okay, now we listened and we didn't judge, right? There was no judgment in any of that. And my whip tree is pretty empty. There are a couple things hanging over there. There are a couple of things on the whip tree that I have to make decisions on. And every time I look at that one sweater, I think, just finish it. But I have a bunch of ideas for how to finish it, and none of them are landing with like desire and purpose. So that one's just gonna hang over there. I did purchase some of this yarn, and I don't buy a lot of yarn anymore, but this was some of the last skeins from Indie Untangled of the yarn that she got when Clara Parks did her big yarn, what did she call that? Adventure, where she bought that bale of yarn, and then they put together a bunch of yarns, and then they sent them to mills, and then they got it milled and dyed. Anyway, so this is 100% Debole, grown in Montana, dyed by Murky Depths Dye Works, and I just wanted to have some. It seemed like such a special thing. It's a heritage wool. I'm not sure that I'm speaking correctly about where all this yarn came from, but she does this heritage wool that is dyed and grown in small local farms around the area. And I just went over to look to see if there was any of this colorway left, and I don't think there is, but when I was looking, I saw another colorway that I really want. And it's from Junction Fiber Mill, and it's called Making Tracks Light Happy Wool Year, and it's in the oranges and pinks, and it's one of those, it looks kind of like that, I hate to refer to it as spin cycle yarn, but you know, the barber pulled. It's so pretty, I should not have looked. So anyway, I have 3 skeins of this, and I will make something lovely out of it. I do like a good raspberry color. The winner this week for the Patreon giveaway is my friend Stacy Berard. And so Stace, you won this lovely little bag from Darn Yarn MN. It's really cute. It's got leather handles. And then I have these knitted butterfly. I have 2 sets of this. So it's going to remind you of me all the time because it's got orange and raspberry stitch markers. So this is all going in the mail to Stacy because she won that. Now, one of the things that I have to talk to you about is the fact that I am an affiliate for lots of things right now. It is how I'm trying to support my small business. So I'm an affiliate for the Branwyn underwear. I'm just going to show the bralette. I just got another one. I love these so much. They do not look like much, but they are so supportive. You will be surprised. And they are wool underwear with a nice, lovely, wide bottom strap. Great hardware. So comfortable. And it is Branwyn Performance Innerwear. And if you use my link in the box down below, if you click on the link, I do get a little bit for everybody that purchases woolly underwear. And I just told them they need to be marketing to knitters. We understand the breathability. I wear this all summer, the underwear and the bras, and they are amazing. I'm switching all of my old polyester, even my cotton things, over to this because it is just wonderful. I'm not going to harp, but you really need that underwear. Then I'm also, every project that I held up for you today has a stitch marker on it from Twice-Eared Sheep for marking your projects. So it keeps track of your tail so that if your stitch marker, it keeps track of your tail so that if your stitch marker falls off, it doesn't go anywhere. Your tail just weaves into your knitting as you knit your way up, and this will save you from ever missing a make one or missing the end of your round, because if your stitch marker falls off, sometimes you don't realize it until later. So that is my link from Twice-Eared Sheep that is down there. But I just got asked if they could send me a Lumos Light, and I didn't have one. I have a cheap one for $6.99 that actually I leave in the car all the time because sometimes we get stuck out and about and it gets dark and I want to keep knitting. And I was like, yes, please send me the nice one. So look what I got. Oh, it's so awesome. It's so soft. It's like silicone-y. Oh my goodness. It's just wonderful. And so you all know how this works, right? You can knit in the dark. You can knit while you're sitting at especially if you're knitting with dark yarn. It's so adjustable. You can, crank them up. You can make yourself have, like if you're a mom or a grandma, you can be like the little neighborhood monster person and be like, I see you. Right? But I will definitely get another one. Had I known how nice this was, like the lights are smaller. It's soft. It's just lovely. It fits on the back of your neck. It's rechargeable. So yes, I am there. I'm a new affiliate with them. And so I will have my link down below if you would want to go and purchase one. That would be awesome, because you know what? When they ask you to be an affiliate and then you talk about it and then no one buys one, it doesn't reflect very well on someone who wants to work with you. So I want them to be happy that they sent me one, right? And I just feel so fortunate. I asked them to extend my code so that I could talk about it on my podcast, because I'm also putting one up on Instagram. But maybe I'll ask them if they'll send me one as a giveaway. Is that too much to ask, since they already sent me one? Well, I don't know. It came in this lovely little box. It's the little rechargeable cord. It's called Lumos Knitting Light from Lumos Lumos. And you can go over and look at it on Instagram, because they have an Instagram, Lumos Lumos. And it's just the best knitting light I've ever seen. And I know they've given these to a lot of knitter, knitwear influencer type people. I've just never been one of those until recently. And now, that is not true. I get asked all the time if I will take a product. But honestly, I don't need a chicken feeder. and I don't need baby bottles. And I don't need sunglasses because I have prescription sunglasses because I'm old, right? So like I get asked for the dumbest stuff, right? Really the dumbest stuff. They get a hold of your email off your website, and then they just constantly, every day, I get asked if I will, get something and talk about it. But I'm not interested in that. It's just the things that I really believe in. Like, I asked the underwear people because I tried it and it's amazing. And I asked the Trim Fit people, I signed up because I've been drinking that for a year now, since June. And it has curbed my appetite. It curbs my sugar cravings. If I drink it at night, I do not get my after supper. I need to have a dessert treat craving. Like, all those things that I struggle with. I want to eat sugar from 7 until 11 every night. And that has gone away. And that only thing that I can attribute it to is the fact that I'm drinking that Trim Fit. And it's all natural ingredients. There's no sugar added. It's gluten-free. It's all the things. And there are a number of flavors. It's just that. So I asked, right? Those are the people who are not asking me. I'm like, I really like your product. Would you be willing to give me a code for it? So anyway, I wasn't going to go on and on about all that stuff. And then now I just went on and on about all of it. All 3 of my Pride patterns are on sale. You can get them all together as a group, or you can buy them individually through the end of the month. And I donate 100% of my profits to the Trevor Project. So if you have not purchased the Wear It With Pride Dumplin bag, the Wear It With Pride hat, or the Trevor Project hat and cowl, those are all out on Ravelry. There is a collection of them, so you can get them all and have all of your money go to the Trevor Project. This month especially, I mean year round, but this month especially, I just think it's so important. I have my Pride flag hanging out on my Pride pole. I have a gay couple that live kitty corner across the street from me, and I want them to know that I support them and who they are. And so I just want to be really open and honest about that is something that I believe really strongly in, and really want to support people loving who they love and being who they are fully and independently of anybody else's decisions. All of my audiobooks now are being reviewed over on my other channel. So I moved all my audiobooks over, and that's Cori Stories, Audiobooks and Cheddar. And I have had 4 episodes go up. I think I'm on my 5th episode this week, or maybe I've had 5 go up already. So I review 4 books a week. So please go over there and subscribe and turn on your bell notifications so that you know when I have a new one put out, because they always used to be in here. And I talk to a lot of you about books a lot in my comments, and I'm missing that now, because I don't have nearly as many followers over there. But I do know that some people just like to get in and out with just the books, right? They don't need all the knitting stuff and all the other stuff. So if you would go over and subscribe to Cori's Stories, that would be great. I've been watching all my podcasts, as many as I can watch late at night. I really like the gal who does the crosswords from the New York Times. Sometimes when it gets real late and I just can't concentrate on anything, and I'm just kind of knitting, stockinette in the round. It's called Coffee and Crosswords, and she did the New York Times crossword every day for a year, and she solves it on the screen on YouTube, and you can do it with her. You can and you learn some of the crossword techniques and tips for getting better at it. And she's not a whiz, like she struggles with some of it, but it's kind of fun. And now, since she got through her whole year, 365, now she does one every week where she does one from the past. That's something she's never solved before. And then she does the cryptics, which are really over my head. Wow. Those are really fun to watch, because you have to understand the rules of doing, it's a crossword, but they're cryptic clues. And so you have anagrams and you have different things in there. And so she's kind of teaching me how to do that. So yeah, it's Coffee and Crosswords on YouTube. I would highly recommend watching. One of my friends said, I can't imagine watching someone else do a crossword. Well, I watch people mow the lawn too, and I find it enjoyable occasionally. So there you go. Okay, one more thing. I just went over to Amazon and I bought another 2 of these, and I just bought them for all my friends. This is a little thing that looks like a pen that I carry in my purse that is a scissors on the inside. And it opens up and you click this little lever and it flips open like this, but it looks like a pen and it's capped off and the 2 blades are together. And so it is awesome. And it comes in a bunch of colors. It slides right into my wallet. It lays flat in the bottom, just like my little pen. And so, yeah, I thought I would share that too. There is some yarn you just have to cut. You cannot break it with your, right down here, it says TSA compliant. So maybe take the packaging with you. No, I'm just kidding. I gotta go. I gotta be to get my hair cut in 3 minutes. Talk to you later. Bye.